Hello, hello, welcome everyone. This is the edition of the Male Perspective. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight we have amazing guests that are going to be joining the panel tonight. I'm excited to talk about our topic. The topic is there a divide separating black male professionals? Talking about that on tonight. I'm calling it Black Distancing. Are we from as black males? And so I'm going to bring on our guests on tonight. But first, we just want to share what the male perspective is all about. We talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about spirituality, and we talk about relationships from the male perspective. So tonight, on our first panelist, and I'm bringing on Mr. Todd Hunt as we bring him on up, and he's getting ready himself. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What we got? What we got?
There must be some kind of way out of here. The joker to the thief. There's too much confusion.
Gotta get some relief.
I can't get no relief. Businessman there to drink my wine.
All right.
Plowman take my herb.
Okay.
None will level on the mind.
Come on.
Nobody of it is worth.
Hey,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
thank you, bro.
That's that air guitar. Come on, y'all.
Woo! Yeah, gotta have some air guitar with that one, baby. Thank you for having me on the show.
Gotta have some air guitar.
That's right.
All right, so tell them who you are and why you chose that song as your theme song, as your intro.
Well, because, man, we got to watch what's going on, right? Everybody's got to be along that watchtower, right? And stuff is happening right now, right? And I love that song because there's so many things happening with it. And a lot of people are all over the place, but we're going through a real crisis right now. And we need guys to just open up people's minds, you know? Because the problem that we have today is that people are just not open to think. People are just reacting. And you want to have people to understand and really think deeply about stuff. But right now, no one's deep anymore. Everybody's shallow. Everybody's mad. Everybody's upset. And so that's why I love that song so much, man. All along the watchtower, man. We got to let everybody know what time it is. That's why I like it, baby.
Okay, that's what's up. All right. Nice. All right, tell the folks. Tell us about you. What do you do?
Basically, I'm a business analyst, and I basically I'm a software programmer by my background and stuff in my education there, mathematics, computer science with a minor in chemistry, and I develop software for a lot of corporations, a lot of people. So that's my main thing. But I like to make a difference. A lot of people know me because they call me the architect. I work with guys like Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, and some other famous people like Joey Kibble, Take Six, and other friends that I have. We got this new thing coming on. Gonna let you know about it, man. We're working with some NBA and NFL players to try to make a difference in this community, the worldwide community that we have, and make an impact. So yeah, a lot of things popping off right now, baby.
All right, appreciate you, man. All right, now we're gonna bring our next panelist, Mr. Marcus Norman.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, guys.
Welcome to the stage.
Classic. Mace.
That's classic.
Thank you all. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Thank you for that great intro music. But yeah, that's my theme. And
all right.
yeah.
So why you choose that?
I chose that theme because in the age of pandemic, in the age of recession, as businesses are closing, places are shutting down, but also more than anything, we have to keep a mind on our money, and we need to watch what we're doing with our finances and how we're growing. This is also a time of expansion, as the federal government is printing endless money. With money comes more problems. More money, more problems. So keep an eye on your money, keep an eye on your family, keep your heart close to God, and keep it in balance, keep it in check. And we'll come out of this better than when we started.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So, what do you do, bro? What's your business or?
So I am a real estate investor. I am a small business owner, property management company owner, and just investor. I invest not only in real estate but other businesses as they grow, as they're expanding. Um, and just trying. I'm actually hiring right now. I'm actually growing in this recession. So
Okay.
doing a lot of things, trying to be more active in the community, especially in the Black Lives Movement community, seeing where I can give back. And I'm also a podcast host and a radio show host. So a lot of different things,
Man,
going on. Thank you. Say again.
All right. I said, are you Jamaican? You got all those jobs, bro.
No, I'm from the Caribbean. So that was pretty good. That's really good. I'm close. So I'm from the Caribbean, born and raised, found my way to the United States via the military. So I'm also a vet as well.
Right. Sweet. Okay. Cool. Thank you for your service, as they say.
Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys.
All right. All right. Let me get up our final panelist on here. Mr. Josh Moore, come through.
Here.
Joshua.
You probably never heard this song before.
What you got, man?
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
She wear her heart on the sleeve. She mad at the celebrities. Okay, I be thinking she talking about me. Now I ain't no dummy to think I'm above criticism. So when I see something that's valid, I listen. But shit, it's something about the queen tone that's bothering me. She strike me as somebody blessed enough to grow up in conscious environment with parents that know about the struggle for liberation, and in turn they provide her with a perspective and awareness of the system and a fairness that afflicts them, and the clearest understanding of what we got to do to get free, and the frustration that fills the words seems to come from the fact that most people don't see. Just because you woke up. I don't know if y'all want to hear the rest of that.
Jamming.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. I picked that song because it talks about life from the perspective of educated Black man, and how he's talking to a woman, how it's like we have to get together to bring our community up. And when you stop, like a lot of times we get so high and mighty just because of our cars or our education, we tend to talk down on other people in the community rather than lifting them up. So that's what that song was initially about. Wow. It's like stop being snow on the bluff and just sitting there. Do something rather than just talking.
Dope.
Yes.
Brother, true.
That's
brother.
Fire.
Preach.
J. Cole.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen to that song.
What do you do? Tell everyone about yourself.
Just moved to Omaha, Nebraska. Before I came here, I was a swim coach, and I worked for a chemical company called Chimera. We tested industrial polymers. I was a Spring Hill graduate. My concentration was cellular molecular biology. I did a lot of volunteer work, just helping out in the community. We started this organization called Men of Color Council, which is basically it's a nonprofit organization. We would encourage Black men in the community that there are other ways other than basketball and football to as avenues in order to get to college or whatever. Like we got them interested in, we used to have rugby days. I was in charge of swimming. We would get them interested in the sciences. It's like there are other ways to get that higher education. Yeah.
Finally.
All right. I'm so proud because that's my offspring, my son Josh. So Josh, for showing up.
I was wondering when you were gonna put that plug in there.
All right.
Yeah, you got it, baby. That's your seed, baby.
Your seed, man.
Right there, man. It's some good seed.
Just
yes,
out
sir,
here.
Yes, sir. Man, I'm excited, y'all. So I told y'all. So male perspective, entrepreneurship, relationships, and spirituality. And I'm gonna have each one of you gentlemen just drop a little nugget, little seed on those topics for the folks. It's something you've gleaned, something you've learned, something you felt. Just drop it out there for those who are listening, those who are watching. So we're gonna start with Ty, something on spirituality.
All right. So this is the thing I'm just going to drop on everybody right here. The thing about it is here, folks. See, Christ was originally about justice. Think about it. He wanted to set the captives free. And the problem that we have today is that we want to not liberate people. We want to bind people with religion. And the whole thing about it is God's got so much for us. That's why people don't want religion these days. Why? Because we try to bind people up and make it something was never intended to be. It's the original hip hop, folks. Christ wants to save you. And guess what? He'll take no matter what you are, include you as his. So we can't get excited about that. Something's wrong, or we've been representing wrong. So my whole thing for everybody right now is get hooked to the right connection and start freeing people and liberating people today. Back to you, baby.
I love it. I love it, man. Liberation, man. I'm feeling that, baby. Sound like a revolution. Revoke. Let's vote from the system. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about relationships. Mr. And now remember, anything you want to drop about relationship, you want to talk about the bedroom, that's fine. You want to talk about the bathroom, whatever you want to talk in terms of relationship. Drop something on us.
So when it comes to relationship, too many times we get caught up in keeping a tally and trying to keep count and trying to keep score. And I just say, whatever you do in relationship, lead with love. Let it be honest, let it be sincere, and let it be from the heart. In a time where we need each other more than ever, love needs to be first and foremost. Love needs to come from the heart. And just the same topic with God, and we were just talking about the spirituality of it. He had followers. He led people not because of the clothes he wore the jewelry that he adorned himself with, but the fact that he loved on everyone, no matter who they are, plague, diseases, poor, rich, all in kind. He led with love. So that's something we need to get back to when it comes to the focal point, which is the Black home, and lead with love.
Wow. That's fire. That's fire. I like that. Don't be keeping count. Don't be keeping score. All right. Josh, I know I didn't tell you, I didn't prep you, but give us something from the millennials on relationships. What y'all dealing with?
Well, we are at this stage where we don't date, but we date. It's like before, it's like you do all this courting, y'all go on a couple of dates, and then y'all have a commitment of some sort. But now everything's up in the air, and it's really toxic. And I may or may not contribute to this phenomenon, but I don't know. It's not really good for either parties, but I feel like a lot of us are too afraid to completely commit because of the pain that we felt before. It's like we acknowledge that, like, I feel like millennials are very into mental health and getting in touch with who you are as a person. And a lot of times we're realizing that we're still hurting. So we don't want to fully commit with someone else before we've healed. It's like pulling off an old wound or whatever. So I feel like that's why we have these entanglements and these situationships.
Entanglements. He said it.
Bro, you need college education, my man.
He said it.
Yeah. And I've been talking to this person recently, and she's been really like making me take a step back and looking how I've dealt with relationships in my past. Like she was complaining about how like I use the fact that I've only had 3 girlfriends as a cop out so that I can be with multiple people without fully committing. I was just like,
Woo!
it's like I'm not committing, but at the same time in my head it's like less guilty for me. It's like
Yeah.
not really,
Smart brother right there.
Right.
I'm not really giving you all of myself because I really don't have myself yet.
Yeah.
Right.
You were raised right, son. Yeah, you don't want to get all that. Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Deep brother right there. You raised him well, man.
Wow.
Good job.
Man, I got to sit back and take a break and unravel that, unpack that.
Oh, great.
Okay. All right. So let's jump in tonight's topic. The reason why we're here is this question. And Marcus, we had a brief conversation. I saw a post and I thought it was pretty amazing. And so that really sparked something that I'd always been thinking about and had observed in our climate. And so let's talk about it on up here on the screen. Is there a divide separating Black male professionals from collaborating? Is there a divide? And I'm calling it Black male distancing. Is there? Are we distancing ourselves from each other? Are we Black BMD, Black male distancing? So let's talk about that. Let's jump in it. Marcus, what have you seen from your perspective?
I have seen a divide and a division and a huge separation in how the Black male professionals have approached business and how we conduct business. I have various mentors in the field of real estate, and they're talking about how they're getting money, and they're talking about, this is how I get money over here. I'm expanding, I'm growing. And my first question always is, how are you giving back? Okay. That's great. You're growing. You, the individual, you're growing. You're driving the Maserati. You got the big old house. You got the beautiful trophy wife. And that's great. How are you coming back to the community? How are you giving back to the community in a world that is just perpetrated on success and look at me? Remember, don't forget to send the ladder back down. And I'm seeing a huge divide, and that's what led. I think you're referring to my post about reaching out to male guests for the podcast, for the radio show. Is that what you're referring to?
Right.
So yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. To me, it's just weird for me. It's weird to me that you've achieved all this massive success and you don't give any of it away. You want to charge for every little thing. And on top of that, you want to charge your own people, right? You want to charge us. You want to charge the people that no one has got to the level of success that they have by themselves, right? So no one gets to the top by themselves. So why are you charging me? Why not give back to me? Why not share? Why not give me some nuggets? Why not come on the show? Come on, a young man who's growing his platform, and you don't have time. You're too busy, right? I'll talk to my secretary, talk to my assistant. Nothing's wrong with that. But someone made time for you. Someone poured into you and they made time for you, and now you're too busy. And that's weird, and that's strange, and that shouldn't happen.
Wow, that's good. Good. All right, Ty, speak in it. Is there Black male distancing? Is there a divide?
Yes, and it's been going on for a long, long time. We remember when we used to have the brothers luncheon. I'm not going to name the company or the people involved, but we purposely tried to support our business, right? And what I found is that it caused the ruckus at the company we're with of just us coming together. Now, what people don't understand is this. Let's go back in history. History has a way of repeating itself, and we haven't corrected this, right? There's a reason why when there's more than 2 black men walking on the street, we get pulled over by the cops. There's a reason why there's more than 2 black men at a company sitting together talking. All of a sudden, everybody wants to know what you're talking about. Every other race can come together. Every other group can come together. A whole table full of other different people. But it's something about black men coming together causes a problem, even if it's for a common good cause. People have to find out. And realistically, everybody, historically, it comes from the Nat Turner Rebellion. There were slave laws, black codes that they put out to make sure that you have the right ID. That's why police officers always check you. They're always more violent towards you because they're taught this. They know this. And we don't know that basically we're still living in 1820, 1830 with the same kind of stuff over and over again because we haven't corrected how society views ourselves and we haven't corrected how we view ourselves, right? We try to shun away from ourselves because we realize if there's more than 2 of us, oh man, we're going to have problems, right? You can even look down the Motown special. Barry Gordy said that when he started his paper route, you know, he went to the white section and everybody was buying papers from him. But the moment he brought his brother in, they stopped giving papers because 1 black guy is okay. And he says this, 2 of them is a crowd. Wow. So you have to be verified. You have to be quantified. And we live in this kind of thing. And we got to stop this craziness, right? Because we're all equal. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all related. But we act like we're separated. And this comes all the way from the Nat Turner time, man. The same stuff. You can even look at some of the laws that they have straight up, man. It is amazing how they still enact those laws even today, even after slavery has gone down and Jim Crow. We'll talk more, but keep on going.
That's good. So let me. There was a point you said that I don't know I ever knew, but so there was a limit on the number of slaves or number of black people that could be together, and so that is the source or the root of that same systemic mentality that we still live under today. Like too many black people, there must be a crime. More than one, it's a crowd. Too many, you got to divide, you got to separate. Wow, that's
even in the professional arena, you're still caught up with it. Think about it. If we're working in the same place, you know, I'm a sociable person, right? And I like people, right? Regardless of color, whatever the case may be. But you travel too far, bosses want to put you in your place. Every other race can travel far. Every other race can do stuff except for black men. Stay at your desk. Stay in your place. Don't network. If you do, we're going to get more problems for you. And that's a carryover from Nat Turner, man. And we got to kill that spirit. But anyway, keep on rolling, baby.
All right. That's good. Appreciate you, Todd. Josh.
That is good.
Millennials, what do you see?
I feel like it's a form of insecurity. It's like a lot of times when we're climbing up in the professional world, we hear black people don't do this, black people are late, black people this. So it's like whenever we see someone who looks like us, we kind of like have internalized what has been said to us and we're deflecting it against someone else. So it's like it brings out like a certain insecurity in us. So that's why I feel like a lot of people are shying away. It's like I've heard this from several black people. It's just like I won't hire them because they're always late, or it's self-hate. It's just like when you're growing up and you're like very dark, and it's like you a lot of people, they like, especially darker skinned people, they stay in the house. They're like, oh, I don't want to get too dark. It's like a different form of self-hate, except this time it's affecting the community because you're doing it to other people and not just yourself. So that's just
okay.
What school you going to again?
Okay. All right. Man, that's good. That's good. Self-hate.
Yeah.
Deflecting. Okay. That's good. That's good perspective. Also, for those of you who are watching, again, the topic is there by separating male black professionals? I'm calling it black male distancing. Professional black men not wanting to collaborate, not wanting to build together, especially when we look out into the landscape and we see how the women are. I was just talking to my girl, and she was just like, there's this whole wine thing. I mean, it's like another movement where women are supporting each other by just sending them bottles of wine, showing them love. I just wined, when, you're getting wined. I mean, could you imagine, brothers coming together, just showing up and be like, yo, bro, I'm just gonna wine you and bring you. I mean, just loving on each other in that capacity. You know what I'm saying? But we have this systemic thing going on in our mind where we're being truly divided, and we have to figure out ways by having this conversation. How do we unhook ourselves from this? Like you said, it's systemic, but what are we seeing as being our part of perpetuating it? I mean, and that's the question.
Well, I think you posed a great one there, Tim. I can't look at my brother or sister as a competitor. See, the moment I look at you as a competitor, I'm trying to compete to take you out, because that's the whole mindset of competing, right? I got to beat and defeat, right? We're not competing with anybody. We're trying to grow together, right? And we have unhealthy competition.
Right. And I'm calling
you try to encourage.
There you go. I'm just to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's inspirational to me. I mean, I think when we look at what the women are doing, it should be inspirational, and it should cause us to look inward and say, what the heck? What's wrong with us? I mean, what? Which is why we have this conversation with us. I mean, why can't we overcome this? Why can't we're too smart to still be living under that system, is what I'm saying. Well, we're too smart.
You're right.
What is it?
You're right, bro, but this is the division thing that keeps on happening, right? I mean, I grew up in a neighborhood that was not mostly black. And I had people tell me, Todd, you're not like those other black people. So this automatically starts separating right there. I'm like, wait a second, I'm black though. And there's other people like me. I remember having a conversation at work about the N-word. Like, I got people who like the N-word. I was like, well, everybody I know doesn't like the N-word. And we're having this at work. I pulled every black person I could find and said, do you like the N-word? And that took them to convince them that it was not okay. And the problem we have is that this whole thing comes down to, man, it's division, man. And when someone thinks that you're more special than your brother, then there's a problem. I'm no greater than anybody here. I'm going to help my man out, Mark. I'm going to help your son out, Joshua. I'm going to help you out, Tim. I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make sure you guys get what God has for you. The problem is, we're all trying to get for ourselves. I mean, I love what LeBron James is doing. He's trying to show us how to work together, how to make a difference, right? Caring about the community. That's coming back. We lost that in the 90s. Everybody was out for themselves. Get your mansion, get your stuff. And that mindset is what we're living in today, bro. I got mine. You got to get yours. No. You got yours because somebody bent down to help you and break the path for you, right? I'm breaking the path right now for your son to have an opportunity to get a good job. So I'm going to make sure I'm not the last black person they hire. I try to do it better than them so he can say, you know what, Joshua, he's a good man, right? They'll give him an opportunity. I mean, look, there were a lot of places, and you all know, that when you work at, you're probably the only black guy they had in a long time there. And he probably wasn't there because someone jacked up. My goal is to be the last one, right?
Right.
And that's the model. I don't want, because whether you like it or not, you're not representing yourself. These guys are judging the whole entire race when you walk in the door. It's sad, but that's what happens. And they'll say, oh, we'll never hire another black guy again. And that's horrible. But we've got to make sure we are up to par. So when Joshua, you get your opportunity, I'm going to make sure I pour everything into you so you succeed. Marcus, whatever I can do to help you, man, because you're doing a wonderful thing. And Tim, I'm going to support. That's what we ought to be doing. You need me on a podcast, so I can use you on the podcast. That's great. You see what I'm saying? This is how we grow. We network together. Instead of looking at, I'm going to take some of your people. No, there's 4 billion, ridiculous amount of billions of people in the world. And you mean to tell me we're going to fight over 100 folk?
Right.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm support.
It's true.
Wow.
It's true.
All right. Well, let's jump in. Next question. What is your experience when you are in a group of other black males in the workplace or in the public areas? Todd, you jumped right in and talked about my question. So you was prophetic. You was prophetical on that one. Look here. That was my next question. So you killing it, bro. So Josh, let's talk about that. You being in the South, working in, as a lifeguard in country clubs in Mobile, Alabama. What is that experience of when you work maybe in a group in a Mobile, Alabama, all white country club as a lifeguard? What's that about?
Okay, more. Okay, I went to a predominantly white institution, so we were minorities, and we would take an extra step to not dress like all the other kids at the school. Like the kids would be like wearing sweats, white kids would be wearing sweats, Nike shorts, all that. We would always have MLCC Monday. It was like, okay, we would dress in button downs, put on nice shoes, so that when we are seen as a group together, we don't reinforce already negative stereotypes. The country club, I was the only black person there.
Wow.
For about 4 years. Because it's not just money. It was like $50K a year to be there. You also have to be invited. And the only reason I got that job was because I was swimming at the time competitively, and my swim coach was also the manager there. So it was interesting because honestly, I got treated better by the white people there than any minority that would show up. I remember the first day I worked there was a black server lady, and she was the only black person I'd seen in forever. I was the only lifeguard who was black, and
she was mad at you.
She didn't even talk to you.
She did. She said, I can't. She was like, what do you do? She was like, I was like, I'm a lifeguard. She was like, they let you watch their white kids? And I looked at her. I was like, did you just say that out loud? She said it like, like people try to pass off jokes or whatever. Like she tried to pass it off as a joke. But other than that, it was more other black people saying something about my position or where I was, as if there was something I was doing. Like the kids loved me. Like these kids, they grew up watching Will Smith just like us, listening to rap music just like us. So they pretty much don't care. Millennials, nothing. It's usually older black people, specifically older black women, that have said something to me while living in Mobile, Alabama. That was negative. Or they give me looks or whatever. Or like I'd be out with my girlfriend, and then people would make weird, because she was white or whatever, and they would give me weird looks or just say something. Like I remember one time, this was a couple years ago, and we were at a park, and like some old black dude just stopped us and was like, y'all dating? And I was like, yeah. And then they would ask, it's like, are your parents okay with that? I was like, yeah, because I'm an adult. Whatever. Just little fly things, and it's mostly from other black people, which was good.
Wow.
Wow. Perpetuating the baby.
Let me circle back around to something, because I think this really ties in with the question. So while you were on Spring Hill's campus, whenever you would be with other black males, you said you intentionally dressed a certain way so that you would not cause attention and reinforce stereotypes about black men or black males.
Because it was a private school.
Exactly.
And it was a private school in the South. So a lot of these girls or a lot of these guys, they went to all boys schools. They went to all girls school. Like especially the people from New Orleans, like it was mad segregated. Because like one of my friends, he said that he did not go to school with one white person his entire life until he got to Spring Hill. And there are many situations of that. Like whether it's people from Mississippi who went to Spring Hill, people like the most diverse, like the most open-minded people were literally people who were from up north and went to the South. It's interesting. Yeah, but we would have MLCC Monday. We would never, like, the black people were the best dressed people on the campus because it was like a shield. It's like our clothing, how we talk, how we walk. It was like a shield protecting us in an environment where there aren't that many of us.
Well, if you dress a certain way, man, you might get treated a different way.
Yes.
You gotta protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? We live in this thing where I think too much TV goes on to perpetuate the stereotype, right? And so you see the gangster stuff. Everything's gangster, right? Everything's thuggish, right? And you're trying to break a stereotype that's uneducated. What's wrong with that, right? But the problem is, you get pulled over by a cop. I get pulled over by a cop wearing something like this. They're gonna think I'm a thug, even though I'm working, have people working underneath me and stuff. So if I dress up, I may stand a chance, or they may get ticked off at me. And I love the fact that you're breaking stereotypes. You don't have your drawers down. You're actually, looking like someone that's educated and representing the, very, very well. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that we got to fix these stereotypes that people are pushing on us. And I love what you're doing, Joshua. Sorry. I just had to say that, bro. I love what you're doing.
Man. That's good. So I'm hearing something with what he said, and I really hadn't really heard it that way so clear. There just may be fear. So deep in our heart as Black men, there's a nagging or knowing or an intuitive sense that if we collaborate, we run the risk of losing our lives. That we don't even know, we haven't even communicated, but it's there. We have families, we have children. So if we actually step up, it may a rebellion. It may seem as, some sort of coup. We have Black Panthers, we have Black Lives Matter and all these movements. And there's a perception that anytime we unite, that it's evil. Wow.
Yeah.
Even that we're gamers, like especially with my age group, like being a college age Black man, just going to New Orleans, like other Black people would look like they would tell us, it's like, don't wear certain colors in certain situations. Like if I was a white guy, I wouldn't have to worry about that. So I can't wear a red bandana here. It's like the white guy over there who's on a skateboard doesn't have to worry about that. So it's like, It seems like it's so ingrained that it's dividing us against each other. Like it sucks. It's like we're doing it to ourselves at this point. We're perpetuating the cycle.
And see, if you look at television, what do we get bombarded with? I mean, how many Black history stations do we have? Let me answer that. 0. Right? You don't know anything about your history. You don't even know how we got here. You don't even know about Nat Turner. Like I'm not 30 miles away from Southampton where Nat Turner's rebellion actually started. Nobody knows that. Right? And it's right in my backyard. And so what I'm saying is that our education system is perpetuating it, right? Because when you look at your history books, think about it. And I'm asking the millennial this question. What things did you learn before you got to college about Black people in history books? Be honest.
Slavery.
Okay, so Atlanta, Georgia, where Martin Luther King from, they hammered it in. They depending on what region. I moved around a lot, and depending on what region of the country I was staying in, there was a different importance placed on Black history. Like in the Midwest, all they did was talk about the Indians. In Atlanta, Georgia, they talked about Black history. They hammered that in heavy. In Alabama, they hammered in the Civil War. So it just depends on what place I lived in. So I just had a very unique experience because I've experienced different school systems. But
outside of Atlanta, because Atlanta's a microcosm, you went to the Midwest and you went down south. You said Civil War was emphasized, and the Midwest talked about Native Americans.
Yes.
Right.
No, well, I remember. No, we even had an entire month on the Holocaust, and not that much about Black people.
And that's my whole point, bro. We built this country, right? We built this country. People don't understand. We were forced to have forced labor here in this country. Our ideas, our homes, our people, everything was taken away from us to build something for somebody else, right? And then at the end of the day, guess what happens? Okay, you're free and there's no education, no nothing. You've been in prison for whatever so many years, and now they expect you just to survive on your own with no teaching. And so now we have self-hate, right? It just perpetuates the cycle. So all we know about each other is slavery and the civil rights. And guess what? That's
they even I was my friend has this book and was like talking about the Black economy and like how in the early 1900s there were actually like laws that were trying to help it, but they completely dismantled it and started to do like the Industrial Revolution. I was just like, they really, when I would learn that, it really blew my mind. It's like they went into our communities and destroyed our economy, so that even if we wanted to build ourselves up, even if we wanted to start Black businesses, we couldn't do it because they took the tools from us intentionally.
And that's what I want to talk about, because think about it. When you go to the Black History Museum in Washington, D.C., like what, 5 floors or something like that, they got everything else but one thing's missing on a floor. You know what that is? Anybody tell me? I'll give you the answer right now. Inventions. Inventions on a floor from Africa.
All the patents that we on.
Yeah, all the patents we made. I mean, think about it. People don't even know that the space shuttle, the whole water gun thing was invented by the engineer for the space shuttle, right? A brother, right? I mean, look, I can go on and on. All that stuff is not being taught. So we're looked at as freeloaders. When the cop pulls you over, you're a freeloader or a gangbanger. You ought to be eliminated. They don't know that we contribute to this country in many ways of this survival. So we gotta put that into the history book so that everybody gets educated that we're more than what they want to portray us as. And that's the problem, right? President Obama shocked everybody because he loved his wife and he was smart and intelligent.
He had no dirt come up.
Well, think about it. This was not the stereotypical Black guy, right? That everybody wants to see. Oh man, he's gonna chase skirts. Oh man, I mean, I heard it all, man. Oh, he's gonna do this, and the man never did that. He was looking out for everybody, looking out for this country. But what, he gets demonized? Oh, he didn't do nothing for this country. Like, really? And think about it, man. I mean, you know, the only way Black men even get opportunities if it's really, really bad. Just think about it. Let's look at sports, right? Tony Dungy is the perfect example. Here's a great coach. The only opportunity he had was to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a head coach, which was a perennial loser. Then when he built it up, they fired him. The only job he could get after that was, remember, Peyton Manning wasn't Peyton Manning at the time. He was the guy who always got kicked out of the first round of the playoffs. He turned him into a winner, and then people said, well, if he had a different coach, he could have won more Super Bowls. And I'm like, what? I mean, you know, the pressure always goes up and up and up on us, man. And it's like, you know, can we ever get a break just with that? I mean, just answer that for me, somebody. Let me stop.
And then they like, even I've noticed like they even try, like when we reach a certain level of success, they even try to take our Blackness away, to say that, oh, you're like with Obama, they were like, oh, he's Hawaiian, or like he's not even from this country. It's like, wait, just because he's clean, he's not Black anymore? Like, how are you gonna do that to him?
You take him to a KKK party and see what happens to him.
Exactly.
All right. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. They'll say, hey, people, oh, he's not African American.
That's good. That's good. So let me ask this. And Marcus, I want you to respond. We haven't heard from you. So hearing that, how are we perpetuating that? I mean, so when we look at all of the systemic pieces, so we can talk about that all day. We hear all the systemic pieces. How do you think, or how are you at a Black man? Let's keep it real right there. Let's keep it 100 on this show. And how do you look at Black men? And I'm gonna answer too, because I'm gonna come with it. Mark, how do you look? What is your perception?
How I look at another Black man. So I look at another Black man with purpose and with destiny and bursting with talent and so much pride. But I also, unfortunately, sometimes shake my head because we're not living in our true potential. They're wearing, just like he said, we're not dressing the part. We're not looking the part. We're not putting our best foot forward. We're showing up to job interviews with torn jeans and slacks and Jordans instead of Brookshire suits and you know, the right attire. We're not showing up in steel. We're showing up in steel-toe boots and Timberlands instead of suited and booted like we should. We're not living our full potential, and we're not doing well. The Black Lives Movement, the racism, unfortunately, as unfortunate as they are with the death of Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, um, out of all this negativity, it has done something that we should have been doing for years, and it has brought us closer together. Now more than ever, we are looking into supporting Black businesses. Now more than ever, we are looking to support each other, supporting each other, um, donating and giving and uplifting each other. And the problem with it, and a Black college professor at a notorious HBCU university said, the rioting, the protesting is great, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for the long term. We are the most attacked, I feel, because we have the most to gain, and we can be a very big superpower, and we can bring back the Black Wall Street if we get together. The rioting and the protesting and the gun in the streets and the blood in the streets, it's not sustainable. Destroying your local grocery store, destroying your local Target is not sustainable. They don't kill anybody else. They don't kill any other society other than the Black community. They don't kill Jews the way they do. They don't attack the Jewish community. They don't attack the Indian community, although they own all the gas stations and all the supermarkets and all the vending machines. They don't attack the Indian community, and they definitely don't attack their own, which is a white community. They don't attack no other race than us, because we do not have a foothold in the community. So prime example, big example, when you go to Chinatown in New York, that is an entire culture located in one area. And if you start killing them off, what's going to happen? Right? You got businesses. You have an entire block of businesses that will stop paying taxes. They don't need your money because they have their own banking system. They have their own financial system. They have their own healthcare system. They have their own agriculture. They grow their own food. They grow their own crops. And so they can survive on their own without the assistance of an external culture and an external government. And that is what we are missing as a culture. We do not have those things. We do not have a foothold in the Black banking community, in agriculture, in healthcare. We cannot survive on our own. And we need to get really focused on that and really continue to press in. And after the protesting and after the rioting happens, we need to support each other and build up those areas. We need to buy the block, right? You've heard that all the time. We need to buy back the block. We need to own a street. We need to own a building, and we need to go there, and we need to support there. We need to support each other, invest in one another. That's what we need to do.
All right, so this out though. Let me. That's amazing, but I'm gonna steer it back. All I do is perception and perspective. So all that being said, let's turn back to how we actually look at each other, because everything we do is based on how you look at someone, how you see them, how you see them. So I collab with somebody who I don't see as worthy if I don't have the right perspective on them. Where we got to say, well, what's perspective? What's my true perspective of as a employer who sees a Black man coming in to apply for an interview? Let's not even talk about Caucasians and what they see. What do we see? And let's be honest, what do we see? And that's why I asked the question, because somewhere, go ahead.
Depending on where I'm at, I get fearful. I get fearful when I see another brother, who is not what I perceive to be his best self. I will get fearful.
Okay, no, let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about professional. That's where we at. If you see a professional Black man, what comes up? Do you competitive? Do you feel I mean, what do we feel? What really happens? Because I guarantee you, if it's happening to you, if you're feeling it, other black men are feeling it too. That's why we can't collaborate like we're supposed to.
So in that case, if he is in suited and I'm suited and we're in the same profession, for me, I see him as a mentor. If he is where I'm trying to go, if he is in the position that I'm trying to achieve, initially I will see him as a mentor and something and someone that I can hope to connect with and aspire to. Give me 10 years. 10 years ago, I didn't see you like that. I saw you as my competition. I saw you as someone I gotta take you out. I gotta get rid of you. I gotta take your spot.
Right.
So you grew.
I grew. 10 years ago, I was nervous. I gotta get rid of this guy. I gotta be better suited. So if he has this title, I gotta get the bigger title. If he drives this car, I got to get the better car. If he has this, I gotta get that.
You had the black quota. You only have one spot for one black man out of 100 managers. We're only going to let one in. And the reality is this: they're not going to put two in. Right or wrong or indifferent, that's just what it is. We met our quota. So you're fighting for that one spot, taking out one guy for that reason. And it creates more animosity with ourselves, right? And the
only person that wins is the corporate. The only person that wins is the guy at the top. We killing each other for this one spot.
Thank you. And at the end of the day, man, is it worth all that? No. So, I mean, so the whole point, why are we fighting each other? Why are we going out, why don't we uplift each other? I help everybody, no matter what nationality or color. You see me, Tim. But at the end of the day, man, we got to stop looking at ourselves as the enemy and people taking food from and looking as your friend, your neighbor, right? There's a potential relationship that we connect with that can turn to a bigger, I get job offers all the time from friends. Think about it. I didn't look at anybody here as a competition but I love what you said there, because when I was younger, I took that initial initiative until I felt racism hit me in the face. And then I realized how deep this was. And I said, I'll never do this to anybody again. I said, I'm going to help anybody who wants my help freely. If you call me up, I'm going to come. If you come to me, I'm going to come. You want my advice, I'm going to give it. I'm not going to withhold anything from you to be great.
You felt it in the workplace? You felt racism in the workplace?
Look, I still felt racism. I will tell you this story. Not too long ago, okay? I literally saved an entire group from being terminated, right? Helped the project go very, very well. And I'll never forget this manager said to me, I'm going to put you in your place.
Wow.
This was not in the 80s or 90s. This was in the 2000s. I'm going to put you in your place. And I'm like, well, what did I help me become better? Right. Tell it again, man. I mean, you have this thing of, I'm going to, I mean, I did well, I won't tell you who I work for or anything like that. I did this great, we'll just say a presentation, right? Everybody loved it. They said, Todd, we learned a whole lot about it. But a guy came up to me, a white gentleman, and said, you talk down to us. Okay, wow. What did I talk down to you? And remember, when they feel that you know what you're talking about and you talk with authority, there's a group of people that feel you're talking down on them, and black men are not supposed to do that. Think about it. Only the black men that are accepted are the ones who talk softly, a little effeminate. Yeah, I went there. Because you don't want to see real men. That's why it's so hard for us. So when you start getting intelligent and start talking your mind, you're being polite, you're doing everything right. They view you as a threat. They're saying that, you know what? We're scared of you. And if you come up, you're going to bring more of your friends along. You see what I'm saying? What's wrong with that?
I see.
That's the stuff you got to work through. I'm like, what? I'm just trying to help everybody out. I'm trying to help this company out or corporation out, right? I could care less about all that stuff you think about and dream about. And that's because when you do dirt, you feel like everybody else is doing dirt on you. And that's the problem. Wow. A lot of guys doing wrong and not being respected in these positions and are allowed to go because they want these guys in positions because they're crooked. That's our problem.
Okay.
So the system keeps on perpetuating.
Well, that brings,
we fight against each other for
so
no reason.
what are we doing? What are we doing? How would you say that? Let me ask you this. We want to get through these because I know, Todd, you can go. I know you can go. But listen, all right. So how have you contributed in a way that strengthens current perceptions of Black male professionals or weakens? Have you contributed in a way that strengthens, or have you contributed in a way that weakens Black male perceptions? Let's go with you, Josh. Millennial. How are you out there?
I feel like I've changed it because like I am actually in the I volunteer a lot. I work with children, and I feel like I'm not that typical. Like I can be aggressive, I can be angry, but at the same time, I carry myself a certain way where like people, I feel like they respect me and they look up to me. Like I used to babysit, and like I remember one time one of the kids I babysit, Turner, he was so cute. It's just like he was just like, Josh, my mom said that the only difference between you is that you're a little bit darker and that you're still really nice. I was like, oh, thank you. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it's like
wow.
I babysat them for like 4 years, and I was just like I know them, and like I feel like every time I talk to a little kid or whatever, I mentor them, or I feel like I'm doing my part to change the perception of Black men. Just and plus me not pigeonholing myself to certain things. Like people, I'm 6'2", so people always ask, you play football, you play basketball? I'm like, nah, fam, I used to swim, I'm a coach, I played soccer. So it's just like little things like that where I just do things differently.
Good.
It's completely, I feel like that's
good. Hard.
Change your perception.
Yeah, and you know how to use your verbs and nouns appropriately.
Wow, that's powerful.
He got him.
You talk articulate and educated. Thank you, sir.
Man,
I can switch it up. I know how to code switch.
Now verb agreement.
We live in two different worlds. Man.
Okay. Yeah.
It's survival. I gotta go here survive, and then I can go there to survive. Because if I don't, I'm gonna get beat up.
Not gonna make it. Yeah.
Especially growing up in Georgia, Alabama, it's just nah.
For me, I've contributed in just like I said, just a quick example that I gave earlier on my podcast. I did an episode where I interviewed a HR director for the federal government, and the purpose and the focus of that was just like I said, we are not interviewing well. So a lot of Black males and women feel like I'm not landing the job that I need to make the money that I need. And so in order to help, here's an HR director that is giving you the tips and tricks, what to wear, how to wear it, when to wear it, right? Showing up with the rainbow wig on job interview day is not the time. You can do that after you get the job, but that's not the time on interview day one. And so she's saying, this is what I need you to wear. This is how I need you to speak. This is how I need you to dress. This is how I need you to speak and say so you can look the part. And she's Black. And in 30 years, she's achieved a level of success that her peers around her are white. And so she's the only Black woman who's a director in her field in human resources. And here she is giving back on my show tips to help the Black community land the job that they're trying to achieve. And she's saying, you can do it. Just do these things. I need you to wear this so I can get you to the next level.
Dress for the job you want.
Right.
Dress for the job you want.
That's good. So basically you're using your platform to help strengthen and the perception of Black males by allowing people to come on and be able to share knowledge with the community.
Absolutely for free. So it's not TurboTax. Again, I'm not charging anybody anything. right? This is free knowledge. This is free knowledge.
Right.
I'll pay if I have to get somebody on the show that can give back, right? That can give back. I'll pay the cost up front so that you can get this for free. And so if it puts you in a better position, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, so you can diversify a little bit, real estate, talking about real estate, buying foreclosed homes, look past what we were taught in school, right? Oh, well, I need to go to college, go to school, run myself into debt, get married and get a house, and then I'm good. No, I need you to look a little bit further. So talking about those things, and for free again.
Let me ask you this. And this is good. So how many Black males, professionals, have you asked to do your podcast who said no versus said yes?
So I've reached out to one. I've reached out to a lot, and only one got on the show. My biggest support has been from my Black women. My biggest, and the name of my show to tell you, make my point, is my show is called Gentleman Style Podcast. So who do you think the show was created for?
Gentlemen.
But yet, my
men.
men aren't showing up. My men aren't giving back. My men aren't talking about the things that they did to get where they are. I got plenty of women. I got a divorce. I got lawyers, doctors, business counselors, all women on the show giving back. My men, they're scarce again. And I had one guy, the man palmed me off to his secretary, and then the day before showtime, I got through the secretary. I got through the gatekeeper, right? I did everything right. And the gatekeeper reaches out to me the day of the show. We're supposed to go live, and she's like, "Oh, that time's not going to work." You knew what the time was for 2 weeks, and now you're unavailable. So that is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have to change that.
Right.
We have to change it.
Let me take a quick break and some comments, questions from those that are watching. If you could just respond, what do you think is the reason, your perspective, that Black male professionals will not and cannot collab? And let's hear from my sisters who are watching. What is it? What do you see? You women have observed us from an outside perspective for years. They see us. They have things to say. They have a perspective. And I'm sure that they looking and in their conversations have some ideas, like if they would do this, if they would do this, if they would do this, we could come together more as men. So I want to ask some sisters, what are we doing wrong? Why can't y'all looking at us? Y'all dating and married to Black professional men.
It's not.
What are we doing wrong? Why? What? I mean, y'all. I need to know, because obviously we can't see ourselves. What is it called? The jihad window, where is that theory, not the theory, but the idea, notion in psychology. What is the Johari window, where we can't look inward? It's something. Every time I try to turn around, I can't see behind me. No matter where I turn, there's something behind me that I can't see. Obviously, as men, there's something we can't see. We smart, but we can't see. What are we not seeing, ladies? Go ahead, Ty. What you got?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, man. And I like what giving back, right? I mean, you know what I do, Tim. Any brother, no matter what you look like, I'm going to offer my services for you, right? I have a mentorship program where I just pick up guys. I have a Tuesday night program where anybody's welcome. Come to the program, man. I work with you wherever you're at to build you up, no matter where you're at in your stages of life, right? I have parents come, say, Ty, work with my kids. Sure. And you can come in and come out as you need me, right? Whether it's interviewing tips, whether it's networking, whether it's want to start your own business or going forward like that. I hook you up with people that I know. that, you know, some people they're doing very, very well right now. And I say, hey, learn what they have. You want to be in movies? I got this movie director. If you want to build your own empire over here, I got this guy over here that I want to introduce you to and get some nuggets from so you can learn from. And I think that, you know, where I'm at, I see a lot more networking and a lot more people giving more advice than when I lived in the Midwest. When I live in the Midwest, it's like,
okay.
you know, they ain't even
So,
gonna tell you how
you're saying black males. So black males in the Midwest collaborate less than
Yes.
black males on the East Coast.
Yes, way less.
Okay.
I mean, look, man, my wife. I put it like this. I had a friend. His name is Eddie Gaskins. I can say that he doesn't mind, and he has his own sauce. And my wife wanted to get in the food industry. What did he do? He walked her through the whole process, and then checked up on her. I would have never gotten that kind of treatment in Omaha, Nebraska. Never.
Nope.
They're not going to walk and check up on you. That just doesn't happen. I was amazed. I'm like, what? You know, hey, you want to be in this play? Hey, Todd, I got this over here for you. Why don't you try auditioning for this? I think it's supposed to be. I'm like, this is unheard of. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not perfect. However, the networking is way better than it was in the Midwest. You know, the Midwest has got a quota on stuff. And if you make it, you can't tell anybody else what you're doing. That's just my feelings about it. You know, and if you are from the Midwest who made it, call me.
Everybody else.
What to do? Huh?
Do you feel like sometimes it's like
so it's a lot of secrets?
Yeah. You know, the secret tap them not 3 times and go behind the door and maybe I'll let you in.
Secret society.
Yeah. You know,
do you feel like our pride as men interferes with our ability to effectively communicate with each other? Like it's like a wall that stops us from being even willing to talk to someone because it's like, oh, like I made it here by myself. Then you it's like pull yourself by your own bootstraps. Since I made it, you can do it too. You know?
Well, it's a selfishness, right? If I'm selfish, I behave like that.
Okay, so you spoke to what about men's parenting style? If you're raising a son and you're a coach, he falls down and hurts himself. Do you give up and hug him and love him? Or do you tell him, boy, shut up, stop crying, get on back out there?
No, well,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now you call me out because I used to be a basketball coach. Some of my kids are watching me right now. I cared about every last child I had, man, as they were my own, right? And I felt like they were my child. And I treat them like they were my own child, right? Even though they had other people. I just think, be honest with you, man, I think when people are selfish, even if they're just selfish. It's not about whether it's your child or not. They just don't want to help anybody, not even their own child. I mean, and you got too many people. Remember, in the 90s, you know, black athletes didn't speak out, right? All those black athletes in the 90s and in the early 2000s, they didn't speak out against civil rights and stuff. LeBron James brought it back in vogue because that's what they did in the 60s and 70s and beyond that, right? In the past. This is like, wow, we don't know that this is actually this used to be a thing we did. You represented your community by the way you act and conducted yourself. Don't act a fool. But these guys, no, I'm my own man. No, you're not, dude. You're being stereotyped and everybody's judging you every time you walk and talk. So my man Joshua, we're looking out for you, baby. We're trying to bust them doors for you and give you whatever you have to make it, man, because you know what? I wish someone did mentor me at your age and offer to mentor me. I make it my purpose to mentor young men like yourself. You can call me up anytime, bro. Tim will tell you. I mean, I know you're in good hands with everybody here, but and Tim, you saw me do it at the company we work for. If you were pushing the cart, you want to get out the cart? Yeah. Let me show you how to get out the cart. Let me help you with your resume. I walk you through the process because I cared, because I wanted you to be the best for your family, right? If you want to be the best, I'm going to give you whatever I have. And if we all do that for one another, we don't have this problem. But you know what? If I view you as a threat, if I view like, I don't want you to get to my dude and I get pushed out, we don't get anywhere, right? No. And I'll let go with this thing here, and I'll let it get back to everybody else. Y'all see the Chaz Boseman, how he became Chaz Boseman? He got an internship from what's his name? Denzel Washington. And Felicia Rashad called him up and said, hey, I got some worthy students. He said, who? He didn't even say who they were. He said, how much money? When do you want me to send it? And he sent it. If he didn't do that, you wouldn't see Chaz Boseman today.
Right.
Even God rest his soul. But the fact of it is, this man, because you have a network of helping people out, help people regardless of what you think of them. Hey, you know what, Tim? Let me just send you the money, right? You got some worthy students. I can afford it. You don't see that stuff in the Midwest. I ain't giving no money.
What's their GPA? Where they come from?
Okay.
What's their political affiliation? He has none. He just gave. He just gave.
So all of that, we got some comments, and so let's kind of get into those. So Cheryl says black men don't trust each other. Now that's an outside perspective. She's looking at us. All right, we don't trust each other. On this, what do we need to do to start trusting? What would make you trust? Okay, even let's go like I asked the question. You know, you see a black man, well dressed, professional, coming into the job. Marcus, you said 10 years ago you'd have been like, "Oh shoot, that's competition," and we already know we compete for women. So, right. So we already know you the best dressed black man in the Fortune 500 company. You running the women. Let's keep it real. Look here. You got the sauce. You got all nationalities. Okay. Now you got another brother show up on there. It's like, hold up. Wait a minute. So that right there has not ended with us. That still exists. And Marcus, you grew, you owned it. Like, yeah, I was like that. So that's a trust thing. What are we seeing about each other that we're like, I gotta compete against you? Because that is not just at the local level. This is at the national level in the US. We got all these black men that are super uber smart and professional, and you telling me we can't come up with a holistic vision? Why we gotta run the nonprofit? Why we gotta run the idea alone? Why can't I collab? It's trust. Why I gotta start something new? Because you gave me a platform. Because I won't come on my show. It's my show, and I don't want to come on your show. What are we doing? Come on, y'all. Talk to me.
Could you think he gonna take it from you, right? You think he's gonna take it from you? He's gonna outdo you and then bump you out of the way, just like the example you gave, best dressed brother on campus. So we got that gangster mindset, that territory. Hey, don't step on my turf. These women are mine. This is my area. This is my turf. Don't step over here. We got that gangster mindset instead of that building mindset. Hey, brother, I see you doing your thing. Let me show you how I do it, so we can grow together. We can get these women together. We can get all the honeys together. There's plenty of it. The women outnumber us. There are more women than men, right? If we sticking on that example, there are more women. Women outnumber us men. So why I gotta sit here and say I'm gonna claim them all? I can only marry one. So why am I fighting for this one turf?
Facts.
And the same example he brought up earlier in business. We have been systematically placed in position to say, and we call it diversity, right? Oh, we diverse because we got the blacks, we got the Hispanics, we got the Mexicans, but we got this one brother here as the shining example. Oh, look at Josh. Y'all should be like Josh. Look at Josh. Look how many sales he did. Look at the numbers. Now I'm creating competition. So I'm being forced to take you out. Right? Instead of saying, hey, Josh is doing great sales, Marcus sales isn't so good. Let's connect Josh to Marcus without the competition so that Marcus can make just as much as Josh together.
Break it down, bro. Break it down. Look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was still loved. He would educate young cats to be better. I mean, giving them tips. You're competing, bro. He didn't look at it that way. He looked at it, I want you to be the best you to make you the best me. See, that's our problem. We don't try to make the best us.
Michael Jordan didn't do that though.
No, he sure didn't.
He was the
Sorry,
best in
wait,
his
what?
league, but he never gave back. He was out practicing by himself. He's not practicing with his team. He's practicing by himself. Why are you practicing by yourself? Well, I got to be the best. Why you got to be the best? It's a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
What Uncle George said about our oppressors created this division made me think of a specific story at the country club. Like this was probably like my 4th year, and then there was this girl named Emily. She was like, "Oh, one of my friends is thinking about applying to be a lifeguard." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And she was like, "He's black." I was like, "Okay." And then she was just like, "Oh, aren't you like gonna be sad?" I was like, "Why would I be sad?" It's like, "Because you won't be the only black person." It's like, my black.
Really?
Yeah, she said this to me. I was like, "Is that a thing?" It's just like, it's like the people on the outside are creating this division in our own community. Just it's ridiculous. It's like this, It's like token, except you internalized it and accepted it. And it's just like, okay, well, I'm not as special. It's like it's so insecure and it's just ridiculous. It's like you stood out before, but now you don't anymore because like you're just another black guy.
And you said something very important, Joshua. Insecure, right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys who are insecure because they know they're not good enough or feel they're not good enough look at other guys as a threat. And as a reason, they try to take them out because they realize I'm not as good as Joshua. Instead of saying, Joshua, you're better than me. How can I help you get further than me? You see what I'm saying? And that's a selfless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, if you're better than me, man, I'm going to learn from you and hope you, when you make it to the top, just remember me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
To me, it's like
the ladder back down.
Secure my blackness. Like I don't care. There could be a million of us. Like I'm still me.
Yeah.
You know?
At the end of the day, you're gonna be you, right? And I love that, man. And like I said, that's what I love about you guys, man. It's all about empowering and making everybody better, right? And the way we view competition is I got to take you out all the time. I got, it's kind of like, boxers hating another boxer to fight him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to hate you to take you out.
Win.
Like those press conferences where they just trash talk each other for hours. It's like, why is this necessary? Just have a friendly competition. You ain't gotta be mad. All that rah-rah.
Wow.
That's what you didn't see.
This came to me, and I never really saw it this way. Takara says competition is part of the black man's language. Now, look at sports, and y'all touched on that. Look at how we are literally pitted against each other in terms of sports. And the more we hate each other off the field, the more the system benefits.
Yeah.
The more. So creating that competitive spirit on field, baseball, football, that has transmutated and seeped into the professional mindset.
And that's the thing we don't do. We go to the game and we sit there and it's like, all right, you gotta take him out, but we never collab afterwards, after the game, right? We never connect after the game and say, hey man, good game. What is it you doing on the side? Oh, Magic Johnson, you got a burger? I would like to invest in that. I see what you're doing. Oh, that's very positive. Oh, you creating school systems. We never connect after the competition. Oh, you my enemy. I gotta study you so I can take you out of the game. I guarantee you that's why some of these players got out the game early. They realized it was just too much. Let me get my meal. Let me get in here and get out, because there's no growth here. I can't grow with these men.
Right.
It depends on the sport too. Like I've noticed that my favorite sports, and I compared it to like football and soccer, but like football and soccer, for example, like in soccer, like you will play a game against like someone else, and then like afterwards you probably end up going to get pizza with them or whatever. And it's like you're someone you're opposing, but like y'all been playing club team your entire life together. It's like y'all grew up together. It's the same with swimming. It's like it seems like those communities, they just build more camaraderie than football and soccer. I mean, football and basketball, it just seems more aggressive. You know?
Let's take that. How many brothers did you swim against?
One.
All in basketball. Brothers are all in football. this whole thing, I gotta hate my brother. I mean, that hate is just really something. And
Even
coaches
like,
breathe.
it's like even the Africans on the soccer team, they were like friendlier than the black people playing football and basketball. They hated each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're on teammates.
Wow. That's good.
It's
good. All right, we're gonna get to our last question. We've been here an hour, and I know the conversation has been good. We've been flowing, but so let's talk about what are your criteria. How do you decide who you'll collaborate with, and share your reasons for not collaborating? And we're in terms of black men, your own perspective. Just let's keep it real on there, and just like, I mean, I think I can say that I'm pretty sure I know I've dissed at least one brother for whatever reason. It didn't connect, didn't collaborate. They reached out to me, and I'm like, nah, fam. I'm sure we've all done it. What's that about, and how are we gonna move? Go ahead. How are we gonna move forward?
No, I'll give my example. Just
Marcus,
like you, a brother reached out to me. He wanted me to invest in his car flipping business. And so I asked him, we sat down, I treated him to lunch, and I asked him the details. So how does this work? I always come off ignorant. Even if I have my own idea about how it works, I still want to hear from what his mindset, because he may be doing something different. So he wanted me to invest with him. He wanted to buy 15 cars, fix them up, nice them up, and then sell them for a higher from what he paid for them. And so I asked him, I said, who's on your team, right? Do you have a mechanic? Do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the mechanic to fix them up? And when you say fix them up, what does that mean? Are you fixing the engine, or are you just making it look nice? And ultimately what I got out of it was he just wants to make the car look nice. And that to me is not a product that I want to put my money behind, right? That's not an investment for me. You want to make the rims nice. You want to put the sound system in the car, and you want to paint it really pretty, but the engine is crud. And I'm thinking about the black man who needs that car to get to work. And maybe there's some maybe there's some of me in there, and I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, well, he probably doesn't want the car for the engine, but I have to look out for him, and I can't attach myself to something like that. And so that is a scenario where I had to say, I can't invest with you. I can't collab with you in this arena. If you're doing anything else, I'll always hear you out. But this car flipping is not where I want to get behind. So that was a criteria where I had to say no. What I look for is just honesty. How is this going to benefit? Right? You may not look like me. You may not dress like me, and that's fine. I don't expect you to, right? You don't have to be whatever, but your message and your brand has to help some way, somehow. That's what I look for. I look for the product. What is the product? Not necessarily I care about the person and who he has backing him, but what's the product and how is it going to help? And who's your target audience? Rims and sound system isn't going to help that man who's trying to feed his family get to work. And when that car breaks down on him, he's going to come back to you to say you sold him a bad product. Well, no, my investor, he's the money. I can't do it.
Good. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. That's good. Todd, what you got?
Well, I mean, pretty much, when it comes to investing, I agree with Marcus all the way. Because like I said, when it comes to business, that business represents you, and you got to do it right. So I got to get to know you more on an intimate level than just throw money at you and just hope for the best, right? But generally speaking, my rule of thumb is I usually will work with you like Marcus does, just to try to help you figure out whatever you're trying to do. And I don't mind helping people out, right? The only way I turn someone that's if I don't have time to deal with you, right? Because, I'm packed out. I got like 20, 50 people that need me. I can't fit you in. That's the only reason why I would really drop somebody out, for those two reasons, right? If I'm going to do business with you, it's got to be right. Second, if I don't have enough time to fit you in, right? You may have to wait a little bit, unfortunately. But those are my 2 criteria.
Got it. And what about you, Josh? How do you decide who you collaborate, connect with, build, in terms of, just moving forward, creating?
I like to take a hard look at a person's network, whether that's professional or personal, because like when I told you about the organization MOCC, like me and my friends started this, and like we had a certain rep, we had a certain brand, we had like professional Black men who out in the community, and if we let someone into our group who's always out partying, who's like all their friends are just alcoholics or crazy or always getting in trouble with girls and teachers, it's like we don't want you in our network. So it's like a lion isn't going to hang out with sheep, and like so that's how I like to look at it. It's like I have no problem helping someone grow or build, but if I don't feel like that it would be worth my energy, then I'm not going to invest anything, time, money, or any otherwise. So yeah, a person's network is a big deal.
That's an up and coming.
Huh.
Are you looking at their network for your benefit, or just their network to get an idea of who they are? Why are you looking at their network?
I'm looking at it to see who they are, their work ethic, and just to see if they would be a right fit. Like a lot of people, they have people in their lives that will bring them down. It's like that'll bring down my organization. And like I don't need, if like someone in your life is toxic, it will spread like a disease. And I don't need that at all.
That would make sense for millennials. That would make sense because you guys got a lot of interesting folk.
Yeah, very interesting.
So why do you say just for millennials? Todd, so why is it just for millennials? I mean, you don't think that would be good for other generations?
Millennials have a unique situation because they were exposed to something that we weren't allowed to be exposed to, right? The racism that we encountered growing up kind of built and shaped our mindset, right? They didn't experience that kind of racism, right? They experienced that everybody's equal, everybody's fine. But what happens is that people start showing their true colors at an early age. See, people would hide who they really are when we were growing up. They would act fake, right? And so, you meet someone and they pretend to be nice as a millennial, but then you got to see who they hang out with, right? And that really tells you who they really are because they want to fit in. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Josh. Your generation wants to fit in. So if they're hanging out with us, you don't want to fit in? Am I right or wrong?
No, it's so true. And it's so annoying, especially like since I've been coaching, like when I was coaching, or just dealing with kids. It's like social media has made our way of communication completely different. Like back in my day, like bullying was literally physical. Now it's cyberbullying. It's like your network determines so much about who you are, like who you're friends with, who you're mutual friends with, who you got pictures with. It determines not only yourself, how you are perceived by others, but also how you perceive yourself. So like you're generally going to hang out with someone who has the same friend groups or like as you because you're going to feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at your network to see like what type of people make you feel comfortable for who you are. And it's just like it's very telling, especially like that's how like girls find dirt on you because they look at your social media. It's like, oh, your friend's always doing this. It's like I saw your friend on Snapchat. He's hanging out with all these people. It's just like, oh, I'm caught. My bad. I
mean,
we do that even in courtship.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, it's very interesting.
Courtship.
Well, see, what I like about what she said. Well, Nicole. But very interesting that you brought this up here, living next door to KKK. We were growing up, the N-word was used from white people riding bikes and stuff. You didn't have to guess. They were there, right?
Wow.
Right? I mean, that's kind of area that I grew up in, where they told you exactly who they were, and if they didn't like you, they would tell you what you're about, right?
You survived, brother. You was in it. You was in the plantation.
That's what I'm saying is that millennials, man, you have to figure people out because they'll sit into a classroom and they just kind of like fit in, right? They'll sit in with us and like, okay, what you really like? Do you really hate my idea? Well, they may not speak up for a little bit, but then they'll say, okay, finally I'm going to say what's on my mind if I prompt you enough, right? But that's why we brought you in here, Josh, is basically to say, dude, state your opinion because we're opinionated. And that's why we're out. That's why I guess people kind of, I guess get mad at us because we're so opinionated. But if we didn't have an opinion when we were growing up, you would die. What kind of guy are you, right?
So offended by opinions nowadays. It's like they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Like I get corrected all the time. It's like I don't care. I've heard my sisters have said worse stuff to me, and what I'm saying, my opinion is bothering you. It's my opinion. It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be from a place of education. It's what I think and it's what I believe, and you're gonna have to deal with it or just shut up. And it's like that's why it's so hard with social media. It's like people want to attack. Everyone wants to attack without actually listening to what someone's coming from. It's like opinion is based off of like your own perspective, what you've been through. If you just listen to someone instead of like just immediately attacking and immediately responding, then you would learn a lot more than just arguing with someone's opinion that you don't even know how they formulated it.
And like I said, you guys have a lot of thought. You guys have a lot of opinion, but we got to pry it out of you, right? I mean, from day one, my man Tim will tell you straight up, this is what I'm about. Marcus will probably say, this is what I'm about. I said, this is what I'm about, right? And so, that's the thing, and so you guys have a unique situation. You guys can fit in places where basically we never could. And that's a good thing. The bad thing is that, yeah, that's why they like millennials. They'll fit in, Tim, you walk in there and the meetings that we walk into, they sit up there and say something that you don't like. You can be like, you know what? I can't go along with this. All of a sudden, the whole meeting just goes, cattywampus. Like, you can't go along with this? Why? You've been in the meetings. Because, look, I just can't do it. Millennials will sit back a little bit, okay, and they'll try to figure out how to way to say it where it can work, right? Because that social media content, you're right, Josh, cyberbullying and stuff. See, they grew up in a whole different thing of how you say it, how you word it, but you still say it in a way that they can receive it.
Fitting in can also be a really bad thing because it's like you run the danger of like being in an echo chamber where like you're surrounded by people who say the exact same thing as you, and like just someone different saying something that you don't agree with once will negatively affect your emotional state of mind, which is happening so often. So it's like, yeah, you're fitting in. Yeah, you've learned how to fit in, but sometimes it's not okay to fit in every piece. It's like you're not supposed to fit in every situation. Sometimes it's supposed to be uncomfortable. But my generation has a problem with being uncomfortable. It's really annoying.
Yeah. And see, that's the part that fascinated me. Wow. We grew up uncomfortable.
Exactly. We're too comfortable.
We had to sit at the table, man. But guess what? All the other kids somewhere else. We had to make our own table, right? Growing in school. Think about it, Tim. Think about it, Mark. We had to make our own stuff, man. Their generations was taught, hey, let's try to fit in, try to work it out, right? It was not about working out. It was like, dude, you got to knock down the door. You kind of have to do this to work your way in, whatever the case may be. I mean, think about it, man. I mean, how many of us, Marcus, are managers? And how long did it take us to get there?
Forever.
You see what I'm saying? And that right there tells you a whole lot of what I'm talking about, right? And so, like I said, the millennials will get opportunities we don't have because they fit in. Right? They think we're collective, right? They're not going to boldly say when someone. I mean, you saw some places where they would say some stuff, and we're like, no, I don't think that's right. Now you're controversial. Now you got issues. Now Todd, you're not a team player. You know what? You should have just gone along with it, right? And that's why you have certain positions Marcus was talking about where guys, because they want to show on your show, because your show probably represents something that makes them feel uncomfortable, may get back to the office.
They ain't making no money. They ain't making no money.
No money.
Right.
Okay.
But the point, man, is that I got to help you out, man. Help you make money. So we all make money, right? Give back.
He ain't saying it that way.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. They're looking at you as a threat, right?
I'm so far down the pole, though. It don't even make any sense. Like you closing $1 million real estate deals, and I'm just trying to get you on the show so you can help brothers and sisters do the numbers. So when they're looking at that investment property, you can give back. And it's like, nah, I ain't got time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and like I said, man, it's amazing. And so, and just saying this is that you have to have a product, right? what is your product? It can't be just social capital. Your product's about what you give and what you present, right? And so at the end of the day, what is someone actually hiring you for or going to use your product for, right? And we don't think like that because you're a product. At the end of the day, you're a product. What would when someone pay you XYZQ to do what, right? And that's where we got to go, because if you use social capital, they can fire you any day. As soon as you don't fit in, okay, you're gone. But if you have something that they want, you'll always be in business. And I want to encourage you, man, to make sure it takes about 10 years of what you do to be a professional, to be proficient at, or what they call an expert, right? So whatever you're working on now or whatever you're doing now, make sure you have that thing built up so that in 10 years, man, boom, you're making it. And people like saying, okay, Todd, how do you know this? I had a friend, you know him very well, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. It took him 10 years to get where he was at, but he practiced. E.T. hip hop. That's one of my best friends. And,
he got his doctorate now, though.
Yes, he has his doctorate.
He's
we just talked.
Dr. E.T. now.
But you know what? He's still E.T. What's up, Todd? What's up, baby? Mm-hmm. And the whole point I'm trying to say is that you got to build whatever your product is. You got to have that vision. And I like what you were saying, Marcus, that our young generations got to build something, because people will take your social capital away from you. They'll take your niceness away from you. What they can't take away is what you build, because you can rebuild it and make it better again. So I want to encourage you, man. I see my man thinking. Look at him. He's got that sharp thinking in his head. He's thinking here. Build that brand up. Build whatever you're going to build up and make it happen, baby, because that's what they're going to pay you to. So, yeah, I like that brand.
Thank you. I will.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Gentlemen, we are out of time. And I want to thank everybody for joining. If there are any comments, if you want to reach out to any of these gentlemen on this platform, drop them in your comments. They will definitely get back with you. Appreciate you all for just your input, your thoughts, and everybody who is watching. Again, this was a topic talking about Black male distancing. Why do we distance each other? Trust, mistrust, fear, competition, all of the above. And what are we going to do about it, gentlemen? Ladies, how are you all going to help us? Our blindness, our failure to listen and look at ourselves, our stubbornness, our ego, all of that. We be tripping. Help us out. So please continue to comment wherever you are watching. We need to do something about this. There's too many intelligent Black men out there. We need to come together. We need to build. This is only the beginning. We need other men to come on. But like I said, we need a vision. At the end of the day, without a vision, people perish. Yep. And that's it. And that's the issue. There's no clarity. There's no overall arching vision. Everything is about self. Everything is about me, my. I understand we got to have standards. We got to have value, bringing it to the table, but we got to reach back and we got to build. So again, thank you, everyone. This was Male Perspective. Give a shout out, fellas. Give a shout out. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Out of yeah. And I'm shutting it down. You give a small little kiss. Mwah. Voila.
Everything.
Stop.